Hello,
Good
lovely
evening.
people.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
Oh, doing very well.
Mm.
Thanks. How are you?
Magnificent
Good.
for a Wednesday night. Is that loud? Are the dogs? Can you hear the dogs barking? No. Okay.
Cannot, cannot. There's this beautiful thing about Zoom where it mutes the background noise. And I actually tried to play a video during a class, and I had to go on my laptop and share so that you could hear it because Zoom does such a good job
Yeah,
blacking it out.
noise filtering. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how are you both this fine evening?
No complaints.
Love that.
I hung out with Norbert today
Oh, how is that,
for a
sweet
little
man?
while. Yeah. He
Oh,
came out. I brought him to Jessica's crystal shop so he could
your niece?
potentially do little readings there because she's busy 6 days a week with people in there doing Reiki and healings and all different things.
Beautiful.
And then I took it down to Moonchild and introduced him to Dawn, the woman that asked North Massapequa, and hopefully he'll be able to do the same down there.
Fabulous.
She said that Dawn said that a lot of her clients lately have been really unhinged.
Wow.
Said the last couple of weeks. I said, well, think about it. We just came through 11/11 and we just had a full moon, and
Right.
I said that's where the term lunatic comes from. And
Right.
both her and Norbert looked at me. I said, lunar tick. That's the name. Oh. So that's what it is. So, but it was all good. How are you, Tess?
He's in a coffee shop, he says.
Okay. Okay. Learn to look at the text, the chat. I am in a coffee shop. Oh, nice. All right. I put my spectacles on so I can see.
There's
All good.
a student that I have in my mastermind. Her name is Anuja, and she owns a crystal shop. And when I showed her this gorgeous Atlantisite crystal that was given to me by one of my students when we were at the retreat, she reached out to a vendor of hers and ordered a series of them, and they're stunning. They're points, crystal points, and my God, are they gorgeous.
Let me put up to the screen again.
So I don't know if you can quite tell, but it's got these gorgeous, like literally electric violet.
Does it have
Violet.
green on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
have one.
it's really incredible. Really quite
I
incredible.
saw someone on Facebook was selling them out of Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah,
And
they
it's caused Tasmanite or Atlantisite, and they come from under the ground in Tasmania.
Tasmania, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have one? Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I
That's
bought this
cute.
a couple years ago. I saw it online and I'm like, I have to have that. It's got violet and green, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Actually, it's been over there since the full moon. I was charging it up.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I wonder if it needs to be charged. It was an underground stone. They come from underground. So, but it's a nice one. It's good to hold in the morning.
Yeah.
And you know what? Norbert today, I learned something. He's
Oh,
not a big crystal guy. He doesn't
really?
have really crystals. He had one around his neck that the son gave him, but he was not, it was not anything like we were looking around the store. And I said, do you have crystals? He's like, no. He never got into that, modality.
Can we still be friends with him?
Of course. Of course. But it's
Listen,
interesting. And what some say, even like the guy Jeff Hoppy who channels Adamus, he's like crystals are old school. All this stuff is old school. We don't need this stuff anymore. We're running at such a high vibration. These were tools that helped us connect when we were in a different place, you know? And it's not, it's more of a want than a need for humanity, And he's like, I don't need to wreck the crystal business. And even Cryon said that too recently. He talked about not needing crystals. And I was like, ooh. So it's
Hold
interesting.
on. People are writing to me and asking for the link to come in. Hold on one second.
Oh, sure.
I found out something extraordinary today that made me cry that I wanted to share with all of you. We're in the regular Zoom. Okay. Zoom. Hold on. Let me do this other one. Let's see. All right. I think everybody's where they're supposed to be. So I'm working with Lynn, who lives out in the Netherlands, and she's helping me with arranging everything for the trip to the south of France. And right now we're in the process of trying to find a place where I'm going to be staying. And she was on booking, I think it's called booking.com, and I was looking on Airbnb because the dates are pretty specific, and people have their places where you can rent a home or with everything for the month. And in the process of doing this, she was told to pull a card, and she just got the new Kyle Gray deck called 22 Archangels. And she said she pulled the card, and the card she pulled was Haniel, Haniel. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Haniel. And she showed
Yep.
me this whole thing. And Haniel is a female angel who happens to be Sahaniel.
Uh-huh.
So I said to Sahaniel, how come you didn't tell me you were Haniel, the archangel? And she's like, you weren't ready for that. Because Haniel came through to me back in, I don't know, 2018. So there's this beautiful picture of her, and it talks all about how she is related to Venus and how Haniel means the grace of God. And I'm reading these pages and I'm just in tears, absolute tears, because I was working with Brandon, this young man who's been doing some extraordinary pranic healing on me and several others. And he said, when I look at you, your angel wings have violet in them, and they have gold in them, and they have blue, and they have green. And he did this work on me. It was literally like I could feel the wings like coming out of my back. And he says, you're an aspect of one of the archangels. And I said, I know that I'm an aspect of Venus. But then when Haniel showed up, like it's all. So I just ordered the deck, but Lynn had sent me the pages, and the words that were written were just absolutely stunning. Like in a moment of truth, when the truth comes and it just lands, and you know that it's the truth, and you can feel that it's the truth. And I said to Sahaniel, she said, if I had revealed myself to you as, that you were an aspect of an archangel, how do you think you would have done with that? I said, I would have completely denied it. And she said, exactly. And I said, and why are you telling me now? And she said, because you're not going to deny it. And all I know is that I'm being prepared and prepared and prepared for this trip to the south of France for the work that I'm going to be doing with Magdalene. And in an act of humility, which is somewhat and sometimes challenging for me, I was directed to actually start a GoFundMe to ask people for support for all the moving parts, which is the airplane ticket, the place where I'm going to be staying, food, car, travel from Paris to Marseille and back, so that it's not like, me trying to do all of this and work and not work at the same time, and to reach out and ask for help, which Magdalene is saying is a very feminine action, or lack of action. Because I'm used to like busting butt and very, very masculinely driven. So it's just been this beautiful, humbling process. And last night I did my first public podcast. I've got 6 that are scheduled, aside from the podcast that you and I do every week. There's a whole bunch of other people that are asking me, tell us about your book, tell us about your journey with Magdalene, tell us about the Order of Melchizedek tells about the Akashic Records. So I'm very excited. But what I'm finding is as the notoriety is coming, I'm becoming more humble, which is delightful to me. I was concerned that, what if I got a big head? I started with one, so hopefully it's shrinking. We're heading in the opposite direction. And our beloved Linda is coming with me to Paris. At least she and Alicia and I are going to be staying in Paris that first week, playing around and having fun. And then I'll head down to Marseille on the 23rd. Let the games begin. Oof, it's going to be a time. I'm very excited about it. So that's the most pressing thing that's happening with me. It's good.
Well, and when do you leave? What's the date of your departure?
I'm leaving on the 16th. All right.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now Deborah's saying she's like, she can't get in. Good Lord. Oh, come on, people. All right. I leave on the 16th. Linda and I leave on the 16th. We arrive on the 17th. We're going to just have had plastic surgery and body sculpting, so we'll be young and beautiful. We're doing a pranic healing class for that, which should be very fun. Look at this cute little lamp my aunt gave me. You touch it and it turns on. I think I need to plug it in. You charge it. So funny. I went to a restaurant and they had the same lamp at the restaurant. Very handy. Very handy. Well, we have our 3 days of darkness. Someone sent me this. Oh, Linda sent me the video and I forwarded it to Rob saying, is there any veracity to this? And I said, look, if the 3 days of darkness happens, I'm putting air in my tires and I'm riding my bicycle to you. And Rob goes, are you drunk?
Well, so I don't know if you're familiar with this particular video that Lynn had sent me, or this whatever it was.
Linda sent it to me.
Okay, Linda. So I started to watch it. I think it was Saturday evening. And I got about 4 minutes into it and I had to turn it off. I was like, this is not resonating with me at all. This was so fear-based that I turned it off, because that's counter to everything I've received and so many others have received about which way we're going, And to me, it was sounding like a Mad Max movie, the way she was. But again, everything is through your filter. When we receive messages, it's through our own filter. So it's always most important to stay as high vibration as you can, because there's less interference, less of the human bleeds through. That's why when people go into trance channel, like Lynn does, there's very little distortion, there's very little of the human filter applied, I mean, it's always there. It's always there for all of us. But the higher you vibrate, the less of that, that overlay is applied. So the next morning after I watched that part of the video, and then I just went on with my night and watched some other stuff, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that it was so. And the way she started it with, I've been holding this for 4 years, and I was like, okay, so this sounds like a good one. So the next morning after my meditation, I asked Hathor, please expand on what Lynn has sent me to view. Dear beloved, pay no mind to what was shared and simply be. Remain at ease and trust that all is well and that we are prepared for any such disruption. And our energies and technologies can and will mitigate any outside interference. So fear not the words spoken and can simply continue on with your day. Of course, preparation is never a bad thing. So stock up on the things you love and witness our love and compassion as it guides you through any disruptions. We are your team and we delight in the inquiry, the Hathors. So you never know what to expect when you dial them up, but that was pretty clear. pretty clear.
Very clear. It's
Not to
interesting.
fall into the pit, to that
Hathor,
trap that.
yeah, not to
Please.
the fear pit. Hathor and the Hathors have been closer than ever. So, Rob, I was just told to pick up this beautiful deck that I have sitting here. It's the Magdalene Oracle deck. And look what it says on the inside.
Love has already won. That's true. It's it. The light has won.
The light has won.
The light has won. It's just getting caught up. Everybody's got to, the mop up operation, catch up, whatever. So then that was, I guess, Sunday. So then Monday morning, I said, "Dear Spirit, please tell me what it is I need to know today." Greetings, beloved. It is Hathor with you once more, and I am delighted to have your ear. Dearest being of light, all is right in the world as you sit and ponder. Yes, there are transgressions against man, and yes, they are not acceptable under any circumstance, but this is the experience playing out until the final bell. So be not overly anxious or concerned regarding what is at play, for it is all just the finale of the greatest show on earth, and you are part of it. So simply hold the light for those who can't or don't even understand what is to occur. Liberation is at hand for every man, woman, and child who chooses the light. So be patient with those who are stuck or have not even begun the process of introspection, and know that the scene will change no matter what, as all have the opportunity to ascend. So choose wisely, each of you, and expect only the best and most benevolent outcome at this time. We are delighted to continue our dialogues with you at any moment. Please call out to us more often, for there is great information yet shared. Farewell and namaste. So
Beautiful.
I guess the Hathors want to talk.
Yeah, she and they have been around
That's
a lot.
twice in 2 days.
Yep. They are here.
Yeah.
So I was just asked to pull a card from this gorgeous Magdalene deck. And this is the symbol that I saw made out of metal that was at the top of the hill when Alicia and I arrived in Marseille. And the card that I pulled is testimony. And this is what it has to say. Love is stronger than death. To give testimony is to publicly place our lives on the line in order to stand up for what we believe in, which is what I'm about to do with bringing forth her truth, right? The testimony that Mary Magdalene gives to the court of Tiberius Caesar is celebrated at Easter in the Eastern Orthodox Church with the tradition of exchanging red eggs. According to legend, Mary Magdalene traveled to the court of Tiberius Caesar after Christ was crucified in order to give testimony to witnessing his resurrection. Because of her high social standing, she was given an audience before the court. I've always imagined that the testimony that she gave of Christ's resurrection was her first sermon. We can only imagine how she described what it was like to see Christ at the empty tomb. What it was like to see two angels standing where his head and feet had been. What it was like for the angels to say to her, "Why are you weeping?" And then for her to turn and see a familiar looking gardener who's asking her the same question. "Why are you weeping?" And how it was only when the gardener said her name, it was only then that she heard his voice and that she recognized Christ. Love, I have always imagined her saying, is stronger than death. If we can see with the eyes of the heart, there is no separation between this world and the next. The love that Christ and Mary embodied in life endures the loss of the physical body. Mary picked up an egg as she was testifying to Christ's resurrection. I've imagined this is because she wanted to point us to the truth that all life comes from within, and because she saw Christ from within her heart with the eye of the heart. And I've imagined that for her, the egg, as a symbol of the divine feminine, was a good visual to try to help the court grasp what we contain, that we each contain a soul within us, like a yolk within an egg. Caesar was not persuaded by Mary's testimony, so he allegedly declared to her, "A body can no more resurrect than that egg in your hand turned red." The egg in Mary's hand immediately turned red. I've never heard this story. How gorgeous is that? Anyone heard the story before? Oh, how exciting. She said to me, there's so many more stories to come. How exciting. How beautiful. I love it the Hathors are here. Up. Speak of the Hathors. Our Lady of the Hours in the house. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey. Hathor, Hathor, Hathor. Mm. Mm. Ooh, greetings and salutations, beloved ones.
Welcome, welcome.
It is always our delight to be with you, beloveds. Beloveds, the thing that we will ask each of you to do is one thing and one thing only, and it is quite simple to do, which is to keep your frequencies high. It is much like when you are asked to drink water of a higher pH. There is a baseline. With water, it is at a 7. And with humanity, you must understand, beloveds, it matters not the IQ of one, of the mind, but rather the EQ, if you will, of the heart, the emotional quotient, the part of you that will say, I could choose to react in this given circumstance, or I could choose to love, I could choose to forgive, I could choose to understand what it is that within me wants to react to a given energetic dynamic. Rather, beloveds, what you are all being asked to do is to say, through all that will occur, I will remain in the presence of love. If you choose and understand that it is a choice, there is a beloved kitten at the door. We must move this body. We hear you, young kitten, we hear you. Come forth, little kitty. Come forth, little kitty. Yes. Understand, beloved ones, that while it looks as if one is reacting to something and has no choice, there is always a choice. There is always a choice to say, I shall react to this, and I shall give them back what I feel that they are giving me. Or you could take a breath. You could pause and you could say, what is needed here is love. And in your response to said circumstance, which, by the way, is meant to push your buttons, as we say, it is meant to trigger you. It is meant to evoke a response. What you could do, beloved ones, is say, instead, I choose to express love. I choose to understand that any being that is in communication with me is merely looking to help me see my shadow so that I may bring light to it. For indeed, if love at all that there is, if love is the sum total of all beings and of all parts, beloveds, there is never an absence of love. Ever, ever, ever. Where love exists even within the darkness. Do you think that because it becomes evening, that the sun has disappeared? Do you think that even though it has become daytime, that the moon has disappeared? Isn't it lovely when you can see the moon while the sun is shining? Can you allow yourselves, beloveds, to feel and be the sun even when there is darkness. So with all of this, we will say, beloveds, be careful what you are putting your attention upon, who you are choosing to listen to. Discern and go deeply within the heart, and you shall have the answers to every query and every question that you have. We thank you for asking. We thank you for bringing this to our attention. And the words of encouragement that we would leave with each and every one of you is, to thine own self be true. These are not our words. We are merely quoting him. What we would say, beloveds, is look within to your own existence, to your own heart. Look around you. Look at the beings that you have brought close to you. You do indeed become like the 5 beings that you associate with the most. Choose them wisely. Look at their frequency. Does being around them make you feel as if you have been buoyed up, or do you somehow feel drawn down? You must start to make decisions and choices, beloved, that are just going to distinguish where it is that you are investing your space and time. For when the moment comes, when you must run through the story of your life, everything will be considered. Choose what you do with consciousness, beloveds. Now, do you have any questions for us before we make our departure, beloveds?
Let me check the chat.
Indeed.
3 new messages. Okay. I don't see any direct questions. Does anybody have anything that hasn't been put in the chat? Linda? Lynn? Water? Cass is in the coffee shop, so he's not, I guess he's not participating. Must be doing his homework or something. Hathor, do you have any advice that we can share with Sister Lynn for her upcoming trip to France?
Thank you for this query. She is being asked to step into a realm of femininity, of receiving and of allowing. That is something that she has not allowed herself to surrender to for many, many incarnations. She has wielded her masculinity, and she came into this incarnation in a female existence. It has been a minute, shall we say. Ask her to pursue that which softens her. Ask her to continue to have conversations that have become sudden for her. The ones with beings from the other side. Understand that each conversation that she had broadens the pathway for the volume of information that shall be coming from our beloved Magdalene. Ask her to practice the presence of receptivity. Ask her to allow herself to be given to by others. The provider instinct that she has is from a very masculine place, and also from a place where what she wants to give to others is what she would like to receive from them. If she can allow herself to feel complete within, there will not be such a need to do in this reflection of the heart, in the allowing of the receiving, in the softening into the graciousness that it is to be a woman. She will truly be able to receive all that Magdalene has to deliver. This will be accomplished. She is in a process of being forged. It is very much like the pressure that is applied to coal as it transforms into a diamond. So you may see her, those of you who are her closer friends, seemingly coming apart at the seams. We want you to remind her that she volunteered for this. She will come out the other side of this, beloveds, more blessed, shall we say, more full of grace herself than she could ever possibly have imagined. More blessed, truly, and more at peace, and more able to receive.
That was wonderful. I took a lot of notes. So that's good. I can share this with her because I know she doesn't always get a chance to watch the playback.
She never
Thank you.
playbacks.
No, I know. Lynn Hansen is asking, what should I learn to add to my life on this spiritual journey? So is she missing anything?
Meditation. Time that is taken to go within and to sit in silence. This is another one who is quite busy in her doing this. To begin a greater conversation and self-appreciation from within, beloved one. Allow yourself to see beauty and the grace that you are. You do not always afford this to yourself. You, as well as your counterpart in name, are both very busy giving to many. We would ask you to find a place of extraordinary self-love and appreciation. If you could gaze upon a mirror with an image of your face and be able to say, I love you, multiple times a day, whenever you may catch your reflection, and even using your phone to look at a picture that you appreciate of yourself and say, I love you. This would be good for all of you. Indeed. But for you, beloved, forgive yourself for the moments when you allow yourself to become easily angered by another. And ask for our assistance. For we are always there to provide.
Rob, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Lynn Hansen, I hope you took notes. It was very important. Okay, before we go to Linda's question, Tess has asked if you could give us the Hathor story in 1,000 words or less. Is there a simple explanation of the Hathors that maybe could help to enlighten some of us on this group?
Let us answer Linda's question first before we switch topic.
Okay. So Linda wants to know, how can I be more helpful to Lynn LaBorde, especially during our trip to France?
Our beloved one will have a tendency to want to be the one to organize all things, where to go and what to do, and feel some kind of responsibility as if she is hosting this entire adventure. Please remind her, beloved one, that she is with and amongst friends, and that she can have the ability to begin to learn to receive. For it is not only the receiving of items, she is about to receive a download of tremendous proportion and light in what she will be receiving from Magdalene. She built up her stamina when she and Magdalene began this journey, when they met with one another every single day, and Magdalene brought forth her wisdom. But this is a very different frequency. She must allow herself to be able to receive the heart, and the truth. And with the truth comes a frequency of light. The truth of Magdalene has been hidden for thousands and thousands of years. The truth of the priestesses, the truth of Egypt, the truth of Atlantis, the truth of the Essenes, everything was hidden. And she is now going into a mode of receptivity. So when you are with her, beloved, as her companion, as her friend, as her playmate, allow her to open, to receive. This will not be easy for her, for she always feels she needs to be the one to give to others. But if she could begin to truly make this transition, it will make her journey with Magdalene easier for her. Beloveds, there is a book that is called the Sophia Code. And Kaya Ra, who wrote the book, had sequestered herself in a house in the Catskills, cabin by herself during a winter storm, so that she could do her writing silently. This is very much akin to what Sahana Grace will be going through. And there was a moment where everything that was based in reality seemed to have melted away. And Sophia came forth and she said, "Can you hear me?" with such a deafening tone that Kaya had asked her to please reduce the volume. Understand that Sahana is in many ways quite capable with all of the beings that she has channeled, especially with the most recent inclusion of Uriel and her understanding of her connection to Haniel or Sahanael. But the human interaction of being able to receive from another, from a beloved, when what she wants to do is always give, 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 will be a truly profound transition for her. And this will happen for her in France when she no longer feels that she must be the one to provide for everyone else. You can remind her of this. You can help her with this. And for this, we thank you, beloved one. She loves you dearly. You have become quite precious and close to her.
That was a great question, Linda. And I'm sure you're going to execute it flawlessly.
Thank you. Thank you, Hathor.
That means you got to make the dinner plans too, you know.
Yes.
Sahana Grace's beloved friend, Lynn, who is present with us tonight, surprised her by choosing a new restaurant for them to dine, for they enjoy dining once a week with one another and always seem to have gone to the same locations. And she allowed herself to be pleasantly surprised with the new location. She is enthralled by surprises, and she has many that are coming for her. And what she must allow herself to do is to relinquish control in the process. Robert, you know that she is a soul sister to you and she looks upon you as a soul brother. And there is deep appreciation on her part for all that you provide. She feels that she has a comrade in all that she does, and she so looks forward to this journey, just as she did many years ago when the two of you came together on Sundays. Thank you for
I appreciate it as well.
Indeed, we thank you for your friendship and your partnership. And she will want to have a knee in your back about having your books published, beloved. So understand that that too is done with love.
I understand completely, and I appreciate that. Before we get back to Tessa's question, I have an important question that came to mind. Earlier today, I was visiting with some friends, spiritual friends, and it was explained to me that a group of people went to Ireland, a group of mystics, and most of them were in their 40s and 50s, and a 22-year-old woman went with them, young lady. And during their time in Ireland, they were at the site of the Bloody Sunday riots or massacre. I'm not really sure of the story. And at that moment, the young lady became disconnected from our current reality and has aligned with the timeline of that event and had to be, her family had to come over from America to Europe, to Ireland, to bring her back. And now she's currently been institutionalized. And I was inquired of as to, do I have any idea of what's happened and what's gone on? And is there any method or idea for treatment, or, how do we help this young lady come back into her current timeline, current reality?
Beloved, several years ago, Sahana Grace had undertaken to open her Akashic records in the evening, and then she fell asleep. And when she woke in the morning, she allowed herself to be quite freaked out when she was suddenly in her mother's home and saw boxes and her cat. And she was sure that she was in the consciousness where she still lived in Virginia. And she called her dear friend Deborah, who was on the front of her phone, along with some other people who she did not recognize. And she said, "Why am I in my mother's house? Why are there moving boxes? And why is my cat here?" And what had happened was she stepped through a portal, and what was necessary was for her to close her records, and suddenly time became coherent for her. Your friend, understand that there are leprechauns in Ireland, and there are portals or gateways, and she stepped within one, had a shifting within her Akash, and she is trapped between dimensions. What would be necessary would be for someone of the caliber of Sahana Grace or another who could help to relocate her back into her current time-space continuum.
Okay.
Would go very far.
Thank you.
She is
Thank you.
straddling two worlds, shall we say, beloved.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Indeed.
And I will share that, and hopefully we'll be able to bring this young lady back into our current timeline.
Yes.
Is it a common occurrence?
More common than you would imagine, but usually there are portal keepers who can reconcile. That was not able to occur, for she was taken from the site before it could be reconciled.
Okay. Thank you.
There are books that are written of people doing time travel. And of course, we know of many who have seemingly disappeared. Understand that they have walked through stargates or portals, beloved. And it all happens for a reason.
I understand. Thank you very much. With now, okay, in utilizing possibly Sahana, they had said shaman. I mean, a shaman is an energy worker. Sahana would be considered a shaman, would she not?
She would, but she would never call herself this.
No, I know that. But she's of that caliber.
Is indeed.
Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else have anything? Otherwise, okay. If you still have it in you, a simple explanation of the Hathors or Hathorian energy.
Beloved, there is a star system that is known as Lyra, and the Lyrians were the seed race for what was to become civilization on beloved Gaia billions of years ago. Everyone thinks that the civilization on this planet is so young, but it is like a pebble on a sandy beach. Understand that when we came here, at the apex of civilization, the signs that have been left along the way, when you come to look at cats, you will understand that we were a feline race. There is a painting that was done of us that Sahana Grace has within her chambre, and it shows me with features that are feline, ears that go in, and what looks like cat whiskers upon the cheeks. And when she had inquired of us why this depiction was painted, we stated to her, because we are a feline race, it is why the lion is known as the king of the jungle. It is why when you travel to Egypt, there is nothing but cats. It is why certain people have an affinity and have quite a few. And what we brought forth was a ferocity, a consciousness that was necessary for civilization to begin on this planet. There is much that is to be understood about this within the Akash. There is much that is to be understood about this that has been written all over what is your internet. But if you want to know more of the truth of this, beloved, we would ask each of you to make the journey within to find out your part in this civilization. If you have a love of cats, understand that you have Lyran seed origins.
I don't necessarily say that I have a love of cats. I like them. I've become more accustomed to them in my, my marriage. When I grew up as a child, we didn't have any animals. There was not enough room for them. And my cat in the morning hangs out up here while I'm meditating and seems like he's participating, or at least
Of course he is. Beloved, let us say that while you think you do not have a love of cats, let us say you don't remember your love of cats.
Okay. I don't remember my love of cats.
Would you like to remember?
I don't know. That could be dangerous. That could be a crazy cat man then.
Sahana Grace was accused of being a crazy cat woman when she has only been in possession of one tender cat. She has friends who have many more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She spent most.
Yes, I know, and I have access to many, so it's where I have to walk a tight line.
Indeed, 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 indeed.
So, I have one more question, if you don't mind, if you would oblige.
Yes.
The other day, an image was shown to me of what is called St. John's Cathedral in Manhattan, and it's a cathedral that was built in the 19th century.
Yes.
And on some of the columns, which are 130 years old, there is a depiction of New York City as it looked 20 years ago, with the Twin Towers that it looked like they're falling over, and the Brooklyn Bridge split in half with a car falling off of it, and different, very, not disturbing, but surprising. And how did those images end up there 120 years before the city looked that way?
Are you familiar with the television show called The Simpsons?
Yes.
How is it that Matt Groening is able to do episodes that predict the future? Everything is written in the Akash, beloved. Those who were constructing the building were able to see what was to come within the future of New York. Your beloved Reverend Dan sees water lines on the buildings 60 feet high in New York for the floods that are to come. Everything is there, beloved. Everything is visible.
So this was the artisans. So this must have been quite a few of them were able to envision this, because it's not just one. It's an entire facade.
Indeed.
Of detail.
Indeed. Beloved,
Wow.
Sahana Grace received a message today from a friend of hers saying that when explorers had made their way to Australia, the Australians were horrified that the explorers did not know how to speak to the stars. Not just to speak to the stars, but to hear the stars' response. They were horrified that these explorers had not remembered how to speak to the trees, how to speak to the earth. There is so much that has been forgotten, beloveds. And the one thing that we request of each of you is to allow yourselves to remember. Remember, remember, remember The truth lies within. The light is one, and yes, all that is good, and love is what is prevails. But if you allow your mind to keep you from the truth, if you do not allow yourselves to go within, to know the very truth, and you allow yourselves to rely on what is on the internet or what is written in a book, it is absolute nonsense and poppycock. The truth lies within, beloveds. Everything is known. Everything has already happened. It's just that simple.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Indeed. Beloved, we must take our leave.
I understand.
Greetings and salutations.
Thank you. We will see you again soon, I hope.
Indeed.
Wow. So that was a mind-blowing answer, and I suggest that all of you type in St. John's Cathedral and just type in columns and start to look. There's unbelievable images of the city that it's just mind-blowing. And I was so surprised. I know people have, it's not a new discovery. People are aware of it, but I don't understand why everybody hasn't been talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to fathom. And the details on the columns are not just the buildings and the bridges. There's people, there's images, there's everything. Everything. Well, Lynn, that was magnificent. We got a lot of good answers.
That was long.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I took notes. I have notes for you. I know you're not going to watch the replay.
Huh?
Hathor has some notes. I took some notes, some advice.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. You want me to share it here? Well, everybody already heard it. So allow yourself to feel complete within. This is as you go on this journey. As you discussed earlier, a little less masculine, a little more feminine. Be willing to receive. You will receive more grace when you come out of this. After this journey is in the books, you will have a profound change. Allow people to give to you. Okay, as you enter the realm of femininity. Okay. Because right now you wield a big stick. Pursue that which softens you. Okay. Continue to have conversations with the beings. I guess there's beings coming to you pertaining to this Magdalene book, but you're not being receptive. You're not, I guess, opening the door to this group. It wasn't specific as to what beings, but a group of beings. Conversations with the beings, and maintain a presence of receptivity. So be receptive.
I've been doing this healing work with this pranic healer, Brandon, and he was removing, I don't know, fear. And all of a sudden, Uriel starts talking to me. And then I come down here, and suddenly it's my deceased stepmother, and it's my deceased business partner, and it's my grandmother, and all these people from the other side, just like having every day, like, hello, darling, how are you doing? What are you up to? And I'm like, what? And then this whole revelation about Haniel being Haniel, and the grace of God. And my name is Sahana Grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Haniel, the Haniel. Anyway. And the word "and," my middle name, comes from Hana, which means grace. So it's just all the pieces are starting to fit together. But these conversations have been pretty extraordinary. You know, when I'm like, hey, come to Paris, I think I have to pay for everything for everybody. I've got to pay for their hotels, I got to pay for their meals, I got to pay for everything, you know? Like I'm the hostess providing for them.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Linda's shaking her
that's
head.
all on you. That's all your own
Yeah, I know.
mind mush.
Exactly.
Allow yourself to feel complete within. That's the first thing that was said. So, like I said, I took notes.
Thank you.
As
Cool.
did I, because I asked a question.
That's
and
right.
So I have instructions for our trip too.
Aw.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And Lynn Hanson, she got some nice guidance.
Beautiful.
Okay. Well, it was wonderful hanging out with everybody. We're not going to be together next Wednesday, right?
No, I'm going to be at my sister's making stuff,
Preparing for Thanksgiving goodness.
preparing Thanksgiving goodness. Indeed.
Okay. So we'll be back the following week,
Thank you, everybody.
which will be what, the 3rd?
December 3rd. Yeah.
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 All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our conversation this evening.
Thank you, my
Look
darlings.
forward to more. And remember, come with lots of questions. You see, I love to ask questions. I can sit here all day asking questions. But it's all good. It's all good. All right. And Miss Hanson, please say hello to Fred.
I will.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, my darlings.
So
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.